Ladies and gentlemen, for over 5 years, Syrian civilians have suffered in agony. They've been on the bullseye in a war where civilians have been the principal victims, and their victimization has not been accidental. This has been a war in which a government has inflicted mass homicide on its own citizens. A government sworn to protect its people has instead targeted them. It has inspired similar behavior by some of its opponents. It has given rise in Syria to another abomination, the so-called Islamic State. The world has paid little heed to the apocalypse that is Syria. It is as if 250,000 dead, 5 million fleeing the country, 7 million displaced internally, and a lost generation of children is, taken collectively, someone else's problem. Yes, we pay attention when the humanity hemorrhaging from Syria comes to us for shelter and for a chance to live in safety and dignity. We define ourselves by how we respond. The Atlantic Council and its Rafik Hariri Center for the Middle East are trying to right something that is wrong, to shine a light on a humanitarian catastrophe, to illuminate its harsh political consequences, and to point the way toward practical policy changes to protect civilians and to promote peace. Tonight, we focus on brave Syrians who will not let the indifference of the world stop them from saving lives. The White Helmets, Syria Civil Defense, have stood for courage, decency, mercy, and honor in a conflict often devoid of each. This all-volunteer team is not political, but because a government has deliberately and remorselessly targeted its citizenry, the White Helmets must concentrate their work in neighborhoods assaulted from the skies by the Syrian Air Force. Recently, 5 White Helmet volunteers were killed when their local headquarters was bombed by regime or Russian aircraft. They are most vulnerable, however, when trying to rescue others. Government aircraft often return to the scene of the original crime during rescue operations to strike again, the infamous double tap. This organization of some 3,000 has saved between 40 and 50,000 lives of their fellow citizens while losing 120 of its own members. In a conflict defined by horror, heartbreak, and death, the White Helmets have stood for decency, hope, and life. Earlier this year, the President of the Atlantic Council joined with members of Congress and others to nominate Syria Civil Defense for the Nobel Peace Prize. Words, however, cannot adequately describe the inspired work of these brave women and men. Here are some images that depict the enormity of what they're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, accepting the Freedom Award on behalf of the White Helmets are Mr. Ra'id Saleh and Mr. Farouk El Habib. Please welcome them to the stage.
السلام عليكم، مساء الخير. أنا آسف أنني لا أستطيع التكلم الإنجليزية، سأتكلم بالعربي وصديقي سيقوم بالترجمة إن شاء الله. شكرا لكم على استضافة في هذه المدينة الرائعة، ونشكر المجلس الأطلنطي لتكريمنا بجائزة الحرية التي تعني لنا الكثير، لأننا أبناء الشعب السوري الذي قدم تضحيات هائلة في سبيل هذه الحرية. الدفاع المدني السوري الخوذ البيضاء هم متطوعون مدنيون من أبناء الشعب السوري الذي ثار على الدكتاتورية ب2011، ولكن عندما وجه الشعب السوري بالبراميل المتفجرة والأسلحة الكيماوية والإرهاب والسيارات المفخخة والذبح بالسكاكين، هم لم يختاروا طريق الموت، بل اختاروا طريق الحياة، اختاروا الطريق الذي يصنع الأمل لسوريا وللسوريين في المستقبل، في مستقبل مشرق. بدأ عمل الدفاع المدني في 2013 من مبادرات فردية لإنقاذ الناس من تحت الأنقاض. بدأنا العمل في مدينة حلب وإدلب، ومن ثم انتشرنا لنعمل في أكثر من 8 محافظات سورية. لقد وصل عددنا اليوم أكثر من 3000 متطوع، أنقذنا أكثر من 50,000 إنسان من تحت الأنقاض. نحمل رسالة الحب والسلام لجميع السوريين، نعمل بحيادية بتقديم خدماتنا لكل السوريين، نعطي الحرية للأطفال وللنساء وللرجال من تحت الأنقاض. الخوذ البيضاء يعملون على تحرير الإنسان من أنقاض الدمار، ولذلك نحن فخورون بجائزة الحرية العالمية، ونتمنى أن يتوحد العالم لتحرير الإنسان من أنقاض الدكتاتورية والإرهاب. شكرا لكم.
Good evening, everybody. We thank you very much for honoring us and the Syrian Civil Defense, the White Helmets, and hosting us in this wonderful city. The Freedom Award means a lot to us as sons of the Syrian people who sacrificed a lot in the struggle to achieve freedom in Syria. The Syria Civil Defense are sons and daughters of this great people who have been struggling now for 5 years, and as a grassroots organization emerged on the ground inside Syria with now more than 3,000 volunteers in 8 governorates, the White Helmets have rescued more than now 50,000 lives of people. The White Helmets are actually, we believe, are freedom fighters because they work to free lives of people from under the rubble of destruction. After the Syrian people started the uprising demanding freedom, the dictatorial regime faced the people with barrel bombs and chemical weapons and all types of violence. And then later on, extremist groups faced that people with knives and killing and car bombs. But those volunteers, the rescue workers, they made their decision to work unarmed, purely humanitarian, to send a message of hope and a message of life for everyone impartially. And as freedom fighters working to free the people from under the rubble of destruction, we hope that all the world be united and stand to free humans from under the rubble of dictatorship and terrorism. Thank you.